When I say go, go.
You inquired up first. Hi, everyone. I hope everybody is having a good Sunday. This is Lady A with her esteemed partner, Mr. Clay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday. Let's get it started.
Okay, well, my brother, you inquired about gatekeepers and what I thought about that, but let's first make sure everyone understands what a gatekeeper is. It pretty much speaks for itself, just like the word. It's the person that's running at the gate, that's protecting everything, that's overseeing everything. That's the word gatekeeper. However, that is also just an analogy. It could mean people, and there's a person in charge that's protecting and overseeing these people, be it a colony, albeit some other kind of genre, like in acting, like in business, things of such. Go ahead, my brother.
It's interesting because we've been looking at it in a bad connotation because we're looking at it through the celebrity lens, right? I was watching a documentary on the Boule, and I actually found myself more aligned with their message than what I realized. Right? I found that, and I found it interesting because it what it did was said, okay, do you want to be a part of the people who want to take us to excellence, or do you want to be on the other side? And so it took me to also that we need gatekeepers because everybody don't deserve access to everybody. So we've been looking at it through the celebrity lens, like they ain't nothing, they ain't they this, they backstabbing, and that's the improper way to look at it. That's the devil system. Because if we looked at it as everybody does not, okay, and local politics. We ain't even got to go no further. We ain't got to go no further than your family. It's some people in your family that do not deserve access to you. They have to go through your daughter. You know what I'm saying? Just as like some people have to go through my mother to get to me. They just don't have access to me. So should be a gatekeeper system. The problem is the gatekeepers, again, is we looking at the wrong gatekeepers.
You know, I understand that. I think what we are looking at is the wrong identified gatekeepers.
Absolutely.
So
Yes, yes, yes,
the
yes,
principle is fine, but we are
yes,
looking at what they are promoting instead of
yes,
looking at the truth
yes.
of what it really is. That's why I wanted to
Exactly.
give what the definition is, because if you understand the definition, then you won't look to Miss O as being a gatekeeper.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
So
simple as that. You won't necessarily, and for me, TP is a straddler. I think TP wants to do the right thing, but I also think he gets pulled into all those people who have gotten access to him that probably never should because
agreed.
of his ascension. But I think fundamentally, I think he's a decent person fundamentally. But I think, well, his whole being is a life of straddling.
Now, see, here we go with talking access and protocol. Look at this Puff Daddy situation. It's getting worse every single day.
Yeah,
He thought
yeah.
he was going to be able to pay his way out of this. It's getting worse. It's getting Harvey Weinstein level.
Well, that's because, but that happens to people. One, well, you reap what you sow. Two, when you look down on somebody who has already fallen, R. Kelly. So you be careful jumping on the bandwagon of those who are destroying people. It's one thing to hold you accountable, but it's another thing to destroy you. Like Byron Allen mentioned once. First, they muddy your name. Then they mess with your finances. Then they come after you to crucify you. Don't get me wrong, has nothing to do with what the young man allegedly has done. I wasn't there. I didn't see it, and I could never hold my hand up in court that it was so, because I don't know unless he tells me. I know what I believe. However, I like to say alleged for things I did not identify myself. And my other problem with, as I digress, with R. Kelly is y'all knew this was going on when that guy first came out. Don't play like you didn't know. That's my only problem with all of it. Same thing with PD. Y'all
I
knew this stuff was going on, but I have no respect for the women who all you want is the money. Because to me, if you hurt me like that, I want your money and you're doing time. Because I don't want you to do it to somebody else.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I sent you a video, right? And I just sent it and I didn't explain why I sent it. But I'm about to show you why I sent it. As soon as I pull it up, I sent you a video on Facebook Messenger. I'm about to
Okay.
pull this sucker up right now. Bam, here. Is this it? Nope, that ain't it. I sent it to
This
you.
sweater look familiar to you?
Here it is, right here. Here we go. Let me
You hear
get
me? Just look. Does
Huh?
this look familiar? Does this look familiar to you?
Hold on, let me
This
get back on the screen.
this top.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how old this is?
Absolutely. Yeah. Melanated. Okay. Yeah, I want to pull. I want you to see this now. I gotta get to it. I'm about to timestamp it then. Uh, I want you to see this. This tells you everything we need to know about these people right here. Everything. This is actually a documentary about Britney Spears. Okay.
Okay.
Very great, very interesting. But it's a clip in here. I got to timestamp it. I got to find it.
Yeah, they're trying to do a Britney Spears on Wendy Williams.
Yeah. Where this shit at? I thought I had it timestamped. Ooh, here we go. Here we go.
You found it? Okay.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, let me pull this sucker up. Listen at this here. Listen at this here. Okay, here. Let's share my screen. Share the screen. Tab. I'm gonna play this out. Okay, here. Let me make sure we both can see it's there.
Is this the one you sent me about the documentary about the music?
Yeah, Britney
Okay.
Spears. Check this
Okay.
out now. Check it out. Check this out. This is some deep stuff here now.
The pedophile to continue his reign of terror against young victims for several years without consequence. This is exceptionally alarming since
Bring it down some.
I'm
the
about to.
head of the McCain Institute, an organization that claims
Thanks.
to combat trafficking.
Listen to this shit.
Not only would A-list stars turn a blind eye to Hollywood's most vicious abusers, they would openly praise and elevate them to untouchable status.
Shout out to the Vigilant Silly.
The Oscar goes for Roman Polanski.
Bob Weinstein, God bless him.
Harvey Weinstein, who believed in us and made this movie.
Harvey and Bob Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein. Thank you, Harvey Weinstein. Especially Harvey.
I want to thank Harvey and Bob Weinstein.
Thank Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey.
I would like to thank Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein, who had the guts, the courage, the commitment.
Especially Harvey Weinstein, a man of dedication and vision.
Harvey Weinstein. Well, listen,
Researchers and Free Britney advocates went on a quest to find justice for just one person, and in so doing, uncovered the evil tricks and methods used to force young entertainers into a life of abuse and involuntary servitude, even as millions of unaware fans buy their records and others have been able to perpetrate young victims for several years without consequence. This is exceptionally alarming since Cindy McCain sits as the head of the McCain Institute, an organization that claims to combat trafficking. Not only would
it's actually a part where this woman actually sits up there and says, we all knew Jeffrey Epstein was doing this. Let me find it. Oh my goodness, I gotta find this part. This is ridiculous. I thought I had a timestamp. I mean, this woman literally said this shit out her mouth. We all knew Jeffrey Epstein was doing this.
Daily basis. I was cut off from the outside world and stripped of all.
Another girl group called GRL,
that was Paris Hilton.
Former manager Larry Rudolph was the, quote, dead mother from hell.
Today I want to talk about a controversial topic.
Hell that powerful abusers have been able to perpetrate their sickening crimes with total immunity for their entire careers. Cindy McCain, wife of the late Republican senator, admitted they all knew of Jeffrey Epstein's child sex trafficking through the years.
Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was,
and acknowledged that people remained silent, even after Epstein's first conviction, allowing the pedophile to continue his...
You see that shit? Do you see that?
Yeah, and I believe it too.
Absolutely.
Just the way they know, but they know when all of them are doing what they're doing. And when they get tired of you try like you getting too big and you can't play like the big boys play. Let me show you and put you in your place. And your place is prison. Depending on who you are.
Here's the difference between, they all got to go through what they call a humiliation ritual. This is what Puff Daddy's going through right now. Here's the difference between Puff Daddy and
Kelly.
And Epstein, because it's the same crime. Okay, hold on now. Just to even piggyback off of this, it's a polygamist who just got locked up named Nature Boy. Him and Puff Daddy got the same crime. Puff Daddy just paid to get off of his first one. They had the exact same crime, and this man is about to go to jail for 30 years. The exact same crime. Okay. So, and these are the people who are the gatekeepers now. This is who they all was putting in charge. Puffy is who they was putting in charge of they parties, getting all the rappers at the locations. This is their man. This is a gatekeeper. This is what I'm saying about we got to be cautious about who did that. Like you said, we can't keep letting outside forces say this is who you should be listening to. Okay? Because here's the sad part about this. Here's the sad part about this is that we'll sit up here and say Jewish people own the banks, small hats own the bank, small hats own the music industry, the entertainment industry itself. We're just going to say that. Prison system, media, but yet we'll say Caucasians is the problem. How?
No, you know what? We were our own problem since the end of places like Black Wall Street.
No. See, I'm glad you brought up Black Wall Street, because
I only use that one because I know everybody knows that one.
And it's a great example, because what it does, I read a book called a book about the Anti-Defamation League, and what I found out was that The small hats believe in control. So they are the ones that introduced the Harlem Renaissance because they wanted a way to allow the black expression to be put out there, but to control everything around it. So that's when, and it took me to, I read Ralph Ellison's book, The Invisible Man. And he talked about how his white friends put him up in all of those exclusive apartments and stuff that he was living in as he was doing his writing. It took me to that, and I was like, they've been controlling our narrative since the beginning of time.
Yes and no, but long time. Because
Well,
that's why they destroy places like Rosewood and Wall Street and Memphis. Because now you done got out of control. Wait a minute, I can't control you like this.
Well, we've allowed for the financing to be outsourced. You know,
Did we
because
allow it or was it forced on us?
well, we allowed it because see, we always want to go back to Black Wall Street, and what happened after that was they had an opportunity to rebuild, but they chose not to. They chose to
No,
go.
they did. They did rebuild it again. But every time you come up with something, you have another people that comes through and burns it down, destroys it. They even did it down here in Black Bottom.
And I, at some point, okay. Here's all I'm gonna say. At some point, in this point in time, at some point, you're gonna have to become Superman and say, you wanna know what? It's to death do us part.
I agree. I got you 1,000%. All I'm stating is a fact. Every time we have accomplished, others come and destroy it. Now that happened for a long time. Up until now, we don't have that excuse.
Okay,
But,
now
but
I'm a beg to differ with that just a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Because of the fact that it's always been agents. We've always had agents who've always been working on that side of the fence, playing both sides of the fence.
Got you. True. Too much cream in the coffee. Yeah.
Okay. So now with that, it's always been agents and it's always going to be agents. Now think of this. And I had to ask myself this because I've been watching all of this, Fannie Willis and all of these kinds of things. Can we really and truly trust those people because they have allegiance to the operating system because the operating system is paying them?
You can only trust them if they're there for the reason of I look like I'm crooked, but I'm really just playing along so I can keep ahead of what they're doing.
Well, because I don't see any spooks who sat by the door anymore. So my question is always, should these people truly be celebrated because they're working for the operating system? Because they're working for the operating system, if I have to indulge in what they do, will they put the operating system first or will they put me first? The color of our skin that's so-called that we lie about.
I'd say you'd have to really understand or know the history of the character of the operator. Because I'll give you an example. When I hear operating systems, I think of multiple systems that run this world. The legal system, for one. Johnny Cochran, as an example. Technically, he played both sides, but he played it for the reason to grow so he would know more and know how to get his people out of situations. He learned, when he's playing that role, he learned just what the others would do when it came to Geronimo Pratt. That's when he started having his eyes open to how low FBI, CIA, all these people would go. So I'm part of this system, but now I'm going to utilize what I have learned to help my own. Therein lies times when you would have to trust that individual.
Okay, yes, you're a part of the system. But what I'm saying is the checks are not saying from the state of such and such, the county of such and such. You following me? Being rubber stamped from the executive of that, you know what I mean? So can we really, those folks, because can we really and truly say that they need to be celebrated? Yes, because of their accomplishments. It takes a lot to get to that point. Okay. Yes, it does. Because I don't work in corporate America. I understand it's levels to this game. And you have to have a level of education. And they prefer married people, whether we want to realize it or not. Single people who wants to be in corporate America. Corporate America prefers married people. Okay. Now, that's cool. But again, because I looked at it like this. I got to think about my time at Ameritech and SBC. Okay. Who was I really working for?
Because I would say that, but I'd say no matter who pay you, that's still determined by you. Even though we were part of that corporation, who we honestly worked for, that depends on us. We were both there, both part of it, and at one point, you were always management, were you not?
Yeah, but what my question, okay, but see, I'm going a little further with that, is saying who we worked for, because IBM has a history of assisting the Jews to burn up. I mean, assisting Hitler to burn the Jews up. Okay, they just recently, the last 20 years, apologized for it. So, you know what I mean? And Coca-Cola, because they couldn't sell Coca-Cola in Germany, they created Fanta. So, you know what I mean? So who are we really working for? Who are, you know?
I got you. Yeah, you went further than me. I got you. I understand.
Yeah. So, and because of that, and that's even with all of us, who are we really working for? We'll be actually surprised that a lot of these corporations that we think just because we see some big person that look like us, these would be CIA agents and government officials running this shit. Because they keep the money with themselves.
That is true. That is the absolute truth. Yes.
Okay, because I've been
looking, no pushback for that.
I've been looking at the blockchain, right? And I'm just looking at all this technology, and I'm saying this cannot be nothing but created by the government. Who got these kind of fucking resources? I mean, really? Bitcoin damn near $70. You know,
that's true. That is true. I mean, there are some things, I believe it or not, I have nothing to say against it, because you're absolutely correct. My foundation was right, but it hadn't gone to the part where, I mean, you're talking about the tip of the pedal. I was just looking at the picture.
Yeah, see, and this is why I keep saying that no matter what we do, we all explicit in this. We all got some shit that we got to pay for because of who we're working for. You know what I'm saying? We follow an order. When we go to these places, just because they're giving us a check to provide for whatever we want to get, it's a lot of shit that didn't happen to get to this point that we had no idea that you know what I mean? It's a lot of things. I really been looking at that because it's like, how is these young people coming up with all this great mastermind shit? They got to have some kind of influence from somewhere. Somebody with some money. They ain't just sitting up in no fucking college coming up with these grandiose ideas.
And even when it is an independent thing, money coming for you one way or the other. So it ain't a matter of if you're going to sell your invention. It's a matter of when. Because somebody going to kill you to get it if you don't do right.
Because here's what's going to happen. The federal government is going to say, okay, we willing to give you a couple $100 million and plus send some investors your way. Just go ahead and build it out. And you take all the credit for it.
the perfect example for that is the Ring doorbell. And
MIT.
now with the Ring doorbell, they got these neighborhood hookups. You can get it on where the police can even access it. Why would you want the police to access anything? You want them to bring a subpoena to you. You don't want it because you might incriminate yourself and not know. You don't
Here's
want yourself on there.
here's what's amazing about this, right? The home security system that's been created by a black woman, okay?
Yep.
A black woman created the home security system. It's now being used against the very same people who it was designed to help.
Yes.
Something, ain't it?
But are we really surprised at this time? Now that statement goes back to something you said earlier. We can't say that now. That's an example of we had an opportunity to really control some things, but we don't pay attention. And unfortunately, those of us who are aware, is too many unawares around us. And when you are aware, people are intimidated, annoyed, and envious when you try to convey. Oh, you think you know everything? No, you think what I think, because I've never told you that. However, you didn't know the information before I gave it to you. So what's the problem? That's where it comes in when, like what you are conveying. Who else do you tell? Because you can't tell. It ain't happening to me. I don't care. Nothing to do with me. But it does. You have some people that have to be punched in the face before they realize this does impact you. Because if it impacts one person that looks like you, it's impacting everybody that looks like you.
It affects all of us.
If not today, tomorrow.
And here we go. Just to round this up with the gatekeepers. We've been listening to the wrong gatekeepers. We've been listening to people who want to continue so they can receive handouts, so we can receive handouts instead of us putting in the work to get off of this thing here. We got to
like
put in
hamsters on
work.
the wheel.
You know what I mean? So in that, we can't keep listening to these gatekeepers who keep saying, well, we need this for the black community, for the single moms. These single moms are going to have to get off their ass eventually.
How about stop being single moms? Hello?
They'll have to get off their ass eventually and put in some fucking work.
Yep.
Because whether or not they realize that 2025, these conservatives, if they get into the office, if Donald Trump win, these conservatives got something planned for this country that it's going to be a lot of people ain't going to be ready for.
Yeah.
They about to shut a lot of these resources that these people been getting. They about to shut them off. Valve turned off. We going to break the knob after we turn the valve off.
And it's all about them stealing literally the money. Reagan said it years ago when he was in office. Social Security has nothing to do with the debt.
Never.
Nothing. It comes directly from payroll. It has nothing to do with the country's debt. It's a totally separate box of money altogether. But if you don't have people thinking, and then they have promoted racism so strongly and so long that you got the stupid people who will cut off the nose on their face to ensure that you and I don't benefit from anything. And that's as stupid as it comes.
I had a conversation with an older white woman, right? And I told her that racism is a marketing strategy.
It is.
And she looked at me like, what the fuck is you talking about? Right? And so I broke her down. I said, check this out. I said, when I was in Arizona, I sat there and watched developers sell houses to somebody like me and then go back into the very same community and say, the niggas is coming. So they can get you out this property, increase your fucking interest rate, and charge you more for a new development. The old white woman said, wow, you're right. They did me like that.
Exactly. I wish I could. I'm gonna have to. If I remember this, I'm gonna have to look it up again. But the whole racism thing, there was a time, when we were doing the Renaissance period, we were doing pretty good in the politics. and it was agreed upon that that this person would help. But when he ran for president, he did the okie doke. Turned these people, this community, I think it was in Connecticut. They were doing wonderfully and fine, and they got along with their black friends. But they did one of the things that Lyndon Baines Johnson talks about. If you just make that person who ain't nothing think that for one moment he's at least better than this person over here, they'll do anything they want you want them to do, and that's pretty much what they did.
Here's how much of a fraud it is, right? It was an interview that they took off of YouTube of Malcolm X talking about that they went down south. I can't think of who was the other leader at the time. They went down south to meet with some of the KK Klansmen, right? They had a meeting with the Klan. This is what came out of the meeting. It's a picture of the Klansman sitting at the Nation of Islam. He wrote them a check for a donation. I can't think of what the amount is. He wrote them a check. This is what came out the meeting. That if the Nation of Islam stayed out of the civil rights movement, they would not bomb any of the mosques. That's why the Nation of Islam never got involved in it.
And that's why Malcolm got so much trouble for getting involved.
Exactly. They took the shit off of YouTube. It's literally an interview of that. I was like, wow. Him saying that they met with a Klansman. Racism is a marketing strategy.
It is. Well, all you got to do is think about racism. Racism is a thought process of another person. We cannot be racist. We can be prejudiced, but we cannot be racist. So if you're the only ones that can be racist, then most of the things you do is baiting. But if the other person, like a Trump, if I can keep you thinking you here above this right here, then I can sell you anything.
There you go. It's all about selling. It's all about selling.
People get mad at blacks who follow him, but the only ones that really follow him understand the tax thing, understand the money thing. That's all they care about.
Because he talking about dropping the tax rate down to 15%.
And they all about making that money. And you're right. It's going to be a problem with him in office. But he talked a lot of bad stuff. But just like that you sent me about the stuff he had done while he was in office, he ain't backing some of that rhetoric up with doing mean, hateful things necessarily.
I mean, he had the best line ever to black people, and we ignored it. What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? You ain't been winning all this fucking time. We've been voting damn near 100% Democrat for the last damn near 40 years, 50 years.
It's been longer than that, hasn't it? Since 1940 something or 1950 something.
And check this out now. This is how backwards in the head I am, right? When I sat up there and I watched Obama when they John Kerry when they introduced him, and the first thing I said was, they gonna have this nigga run for president. Unbeknownst to me, how thought further ahead I was, right? Now I'm just saying it because I'm just looking how his presentation, right? Out of nowhere, I bet I lost $200 because this is the ignorance of me. I got convinced by my mother and my ex to go vote for him, but I bet money that he wouldn't win. I lost $200.
Well, I knew he. You know why I knew he was gonna win? He was gonna win the same way John Kennedy won. You on TV, you a nice looking man, you a young looking man, you are a family man. They can't find no dirt on you, no kind of which way, and the right white people backing you. Done deal. Plus, they already know who's gonna be president anyway. And he's a safe black white boy.
And man. I remember, and here's the crazy part about it is, I remember being somewhere with me and my ex, and this white lady said, this old Caucasian woman, I'm saying white, this Caucasian woman said, he's the devil. And my ex got really heated, and I didn't take offense at it because I had already it didn't balance with me anyway, right? But she really took offense to it, and I was like, I don't know why not. I'm like, because he got a white mother, and he wasn't around his black people, so he really don't relate. So I never had the emotional attachment like everybody else did. I guess
I liked him because I thought about Martin Luther King saying how we should really, based on his numbers, we would have had somebody long before. I liked him from a historical standpoint, but I said what you said. This man got a white mother. He is not the black president because he don't get it. So in his little head, that's what he says. He doesn't get it. But you can't have that level of intelligence and make me believe you don't get it. You don't deal with it, but you get it.
And the street nigga side of me came out too. It's something that my uncle told me. Always be leery of a man with no hair on his face.
I thought he doesn't have a hair. I thought he had a mustache. He doesn't, does he? You know what? I didn't even think about that. I just thought he was a nice looking man with a bad walk.
I'm telling you, that's what
he had the outer brother.
Yes, he got
but
that
he didn't have the inner brother thing.
Tall, dark, and handsome, can speak very well, the family man, and can inspire people. Got the young vote. Look, he did it. He did it. Job well done. You deserve it.
He's the very reason we got this transgender stuff going on right now.
Yeah. So you have to ask yourself, anytime somebody, okay, this is something that I learned from the state of Michigan. You put your money behind your priorities. So if he put his money behind transgender and all of that, why would he do that? Is he part of the community? I'm not saying he is, I'm saying he ain't. I just know when you put your money behind something, that's a priority.
Yeah, try and get them votes. You sell your soul to get some votes.
That's a priority. You know what I'm saying? That's what I know. It's very important to you if you're going to spend your money on it, whether if it's a want or a need.
That's all I can do is shake my head because, I don't, as a human being, as a man, I got the utmost respect for him. But as president, none whatsoever. Because I don't want to hear you tell me there's more I could have done. Well, you should have done it then.
See,
I give you air. I give you air and grace the first 4 years because you got to get in there. But them second 4, when you did that little speech where you should have crip walk out of that. You should have been doing the same thing the orange man did. Executive order, executive order, executive order. Bump all them Congress things. You can ride over that.
It's a clip. I got to find it. I don't know if they took it again. It's something that they took off. Whereas when he went to one of the HSBCUs and the young brother got up there and asked him and said, how can you tell us about being excellent and being great young black men and not running the streets and doing this, and yet you take all of the resources from the HSBCUs and give it to other places? He had no answer. All the time I have ever seen him, he can ramble on and he had zero answer.
Because, why would you do that?
Why would you do that? And yet you want to talk bad about us in the neighborhood and this and this and this, and young black men and black men got to do this, but yet you take the money away from us.
And then mad when we go get it another way.
And then, yeah, exactly. The way it has been, presented. See, it also has something to do.
That you include us into the pipeline straight to prison where the other folks can make money too.
Exactly. There you go. It's to continue in the prison to pipeline. Because at that time, you got to realize young black men wasn't going to prison, they was going to school.
Well, the first thing, now I know you don't like my boy every now and then, because I agree with you on that, but Umar is right. When they took away all those plumbing, electrical, mechanical things out of the high schools, that was the beginning of some problems. Because you had a lot of men making bank with those kind of jobs. You don't have to go to college for everything. You go to college, and now 99% of us we in debt up to our necks.
Now, I'm going to say that and this is just from my family, okay? And this is just my family. Although I'm going to say it, I know it just doesn't affect me, but I'm just going to make this personal. I had uncles. When I wanted to learn certain things, oh boy, get away from me. It's going to take you too long. You'll be in my way. So I know it's more other men who had family members like that, and I come to realize it wasn't about the fact that they wanted me around learning how to do it. It was more because I would be watching them out there tricking with women and doing other things than actually taking care of business.
Yep.
That's what I come to realize is when I got older. It wasn't necessarily they didn't want me around. So we had a lack of
selling.
Exactly. I'm just there to get the education. I could care less what you do. That's you. You the one who got to deal with that, you know. And so we had a lot of that. Also, is that transfer of knowledge, as I like to say, that transfer of knowledge didn't happen properly. So because I can say a lot of my generation, we actually had to go out and get it on our own because the transfer of knowledge wasn't there. The previous generation, unfortunately, when they got their bag after coming out the civil rights and they took all the government jobs, they didn't transfer nothing down.
That is true. Degrees have only helped us in some places. Just like my therapist, for example, when he was working at GM, he was going to school, and he talked to a lot of other brothers and sisters. They were going to school. They got degrees, and when the downsides hit, they were all qualified. You couldn't lay them up against the others that didn't go to school because they thought because they were white, it was going to be all right. Poof, got wiped away because all the black folks had the degrees. But now they so far behind that nobody has gone to school for the other stuff. Now they rush trying to get folks.
You look right now during the pandemic, the hottest jobs
I like that.
The hottest jobs was people who knew how to use their hands.
Yes.
You seen so many electrical trucks, plumbing trucks, construction going on. People who knew how to use their hands, which those young men would usually get those jobs.
But my uncle told me as a young girl, anybody who can work with his hands will always get paid.
Will always work. Gonna always have some money. Always. You know, so when you don't promote those things, and then even in the community, we start promoting that stuff. We start making it look like, no, that's a good job, being an electrician. He'll never be broke.
And you own your own. You don't have to work for anybody.
You'll never be
then
broke.
If you infiltrate the IBEW, you straight up paid now.
You'll never be broke.
And it ain't a whole lot of us in the IBEW.
And you know, HVAC, you'll never be broke.
That's right.
Heating and cooling, you'll never be broke.
Absolutely. And then you just keep up on it as it changes.
Exactly.
You determine your destiny when you do that.
You know what I mean? So we as people start promoting that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then we choose to promote more basketball players and that, but then at the same time, that's cool. But we ain't even controlling the resources from that. We let outside resources come in, put an ugly fake ass ring that really don't mean anything on the table, and then say, we gonna have your boy on TV every Sunday. Who give a fuck? What kind of knowledge he gonna get? But see, and then we get fantasized and get, ooh, look at that ring. You about to go make millions of dollars, boy. You can buy any kind of ring, get any kind of ring you want made. Did you care about a goddamn ring that they giving you?
And they don't know how to be good stewards with their money, and they are not good stewards with their character. You could get a $5 million contract. I suggest you read the fine print. Because of you get hurt, your whole contract gone. Read the fine print.
That gets back to train. See, we've been trained to be nothing but spenders. We ain't been trained to produce nothing. We ain't been trained to invest in nothing. Not even.
But I don't understand that you don't even.
Not even in ourselves.
But how can you not think about it?
We ain't even, really not even to invest in yourself. Okay. We don't even.
LeBron did it the right way.
We want to go. We would rather argue about who's at blame for all the single mothers than saying, since we got all these babies here, let's do something to make sure they don't become like this and they advance the culture. Since we want to love and talk about the fucking culture and our ancestors so much, what are we going to do to fucking advance it?
Yeah, yes.
Nothing. Sit back and just. I told somebody this the other day. I said, we have become, as people, philosophers and not warriors. We ain't got no warrior spirit. All we want to do is talk and go back to our ancestors.
You know what? Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson said something to that exact thing. Because, see, the ones that had all the information, when they were out there doing all of this, where was everybody who should have been? A perfect example of a warrior without our own support was Shirley Chisholm. That woman was running for president, and they talked about her. Ain't nobody gonna vote for her. Why we vote for her? And she don't make it. Well, she definitely won't make it if you don't vote for her. We are the hat tippers. We tip the hat everywhere we go. We tip the hat. If you had really got behind her, you never know what could have happened.
Okay, this goes back to when I showed you that video of the Congressional Black Caucus when they couldn't explain what the Congressional Black Caucus.
Yes.
So that goes back to that. If you were in the Congressional Black Caucus and you can't even explain what the Congressional Black Caucus is and what they do,
why you in it?
Oh, because it's
But if you can't explain what it is, you need to make sure you know what it is before you go.
I mean, you seen that man came on national TV and could not explain he's a prominent figure. He's a prominent figure in the Congressional Black Caucus and could not explain what the Congressional Black Caucus does or will do.
I don't think that has been the explanation since that other man was there.
Ain't nobody's held him to fire.
What's the guy? He had the Muslim name, Wasami.
Ain't nobody held him to the fire. Nobody. What are y'all doing? What y'all doing? You go to their website, they talking about all kind of other stuff. They ain't talking about doing nothing for no black people, for no African Americans, nothing. So what are you there for? Or better yet, who are you representing? That's even a better question. Who are you?
You know what? That's a good statement, because a lot of us historically see black and vote black and don't understand if it's really black.
Seriously. So I want to see the world for what it is. I want to live in the real world. I want to live in this mirage no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to live in this world that they done created that, want to keep me in the spending loop. I don't live in the real world. This is what it is, and this is what it ain't. I done come to the realization that even sitting up here as all this information that we get off these screens, do we know any of it is true? Because who gave us these screens? Who's giving us the information?
Better yet, even though we may hear somebody telling the truth, do we really hear that person telling the truth, or is this a face and that's a voice?
I mean,
but see, the other side to that coin, though, is it depends on who's listening. I'm old enough to have experienced the things that I'm talking about. I remember signs that said no Negroes. I remember not being able to stop at the bathroom at a place when traveling. I remember having to use the bathroom in the bushes on the side of the road. I remember having the food cooked, the fried chicken and the bread and something to drink in the car. See, I remember that. So I have a different perspective than even my own children, because they ain't never had to do none of that. And when you've had to do these kind of things, you think differently.
Absolutely.
So I could almost tell you whether somebody's telling the truth or not, because been there, done that.
Absolutely. So
it's a little different. That's also another thing that makes a difference. It's where you come from. And what I can't stand is when you don't know that and you dismiss it like, oh, this is okay. Oh, it ain't. You'll be the one in jail and they'll be home.
You know,
Never be the only one, especially if they well off. You never be the only one with them. Never, never. And that may be wrong. I don't think it is. I think it's safe. I ain't tell you to hate nobody, dislike them, but be wise in your choice. If you are the only one and you hang around some of them, that's not a good look. Because if something go wrong, it's gonna be you. They daddy the judge and uncle the lawyer and the DA. Well, where you think you going?
I'm in Indiana. Just to speak to what you're saying, I'm in Indianapolis, and it's during Speed Week, right? I'm there. I'm there a Thursday through the Saturday, right before the race actually started. I'm talking. I have never in my life, never ever in my life, ever in my life, seen this many Caucasians. It was a sea of Caucasians everywhere. Everybody had beer in the hotels, on the street, in the restaurants. It's just, I could count literally the melanated people that was there still got fingers left. Okay, that's one hand. The Caucasian gentleman that I was with, hey, let's go hang out, let's have a good time. No, I'm okay. You sure? No, I'm okay. I don't want to, really hang out. I'm gonna stay here and get some sleep, right? One of the younger Caucasian gentlemen, he was 19, if I'm correct. He couldn't hang out. So he came in there with me. He got to complaining about he couldn't hang out, blah, 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 blah. And he says that, they think I'm here because his dad turned out to be a banker. And his dad and the CEO of Ameritech at the time, they were buddies. They think that I got this job because of my dad. I said, man, stop whining. You did get this job because of your dad. I got the job because I'm black. Nothing's wrong with that. Man up and take advantage of it. Okay? He said, well, why didn't you go with them? I said, let's be for real here. I says, why would I go out there with all your drunk people and I get mixed up and somebody say I tried to date or hit on his wife? I ain't got time for that. So I'm going to stay in this hotel room here and I'm going to be smart and safe. Amazing to me, the young Caucasian male said, yeah, you right. Our people can be a little something special.
True spoke, huh? Mm-hmm.
And see, and that gets into when I'm saying us humans, we make connections. And me and him turned out to be very, very cool after that. And everybody else was wondering why he gravitated towards me. It's because I was real with him.
And he was with you.
Exactly.
To make that statement. Yeah.
Exactly. He was very real with me, to admit, and it shocked him that I actually would say something like that because they're not used to they're not used to black people just being straight like that and not being emotional about it because usually we be emotional about it. I ain't got time for it. I just understand and I'm aware of my circumstances. I believe in awareness. I ain't got time to argue with y'all. I just know I'm aware of where I'm at. And since I'm aware of where I'm at, I'm going to make the best precautions to keep myself safe.
Yep. That is true. Because they'll try to lie and say, well, he went to his room so we wouldn't say nothing.
I come out the room. I come out the room to go get some ice. Next thing you know, I'm caught up in a rape case. Come on now.
Yes.
I ain't doing nothing but getting some ice. I got on some flip-flops and some shorts. And I'm trying now. Next thing I know, I'm in a rape case.
Yeah, I've too many things have happened when we alone.
Yeah.
In Europe he was the only one. He dead. He with y'all, and nobody know what happened. Like the woman that went over to sleepover. Now first and you didn't feel like it. You didn't think it was a good idea. God, for a reason, but you go over there, you dead, and don't nobody know what happened, and they don't even want to investigate. Oh, it's natural causes. Really? So, and like the guy back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s, was with his friends, and they was sitting there drinking and chilling. Next thing you know, he decapitated. I'm good. I'm so good. I don't need to be with them like that. Oh, yeah. I would not be the only one. And outside of my nose and ass, from a distance, you ain't gonna be that. But I ain't gonna be the only one. I know who I am. All it takes is my nose, hair, and mouth, and you'll know who I am. That's it. That's all. Mm-mm.
This was an interesting topic. This was very interesting.
It's always interesting because you're
This was
smart, and I like listening to you.
This is a very interesting topic because after seeing that, and it opened me up because I was like, I actually got more in common with these people than I thought I did because I'm listening at all the stuff that's going on that they're doing, and I'm like, what's my beef with them again?
That's why I tell people, it's a waste of time to hate people, but you have to be wise about your
Exactly.
surroundings. But to hate is ignorant because you hate them like they screwed themselves when they were born. They had nothing to do with how they got here. Nobody did. They here, so excuse me, your character is what comes first. Again, though, I'm still gonna be wise about it. I ain't gonna be by myself with you. No. I'm not gonna be the only one, and there's 10 of y'all, 4 of y'all. No, I ain't that girl. Y'all go on. See you later.
So, yeah. Are we coming up on the hour? So this time done actually flew by.
Yes, it did.
Time done actually flew by. So this was a good conversation. So this was. We can go on and on about this because, like I said, in my opinion, we need gatekeepers. We need gatekeepers to advance the culture in the proper manner.
I agree, and I'll go back to what you said. We just need to pay attention to the right gatekeepers. And to pay attention to the right gatekeepers, we need to fully comprehend, not know, but know and comprehend what a true, real gatekeeper is. And when I say true and real, one that has your best interest in heart, or one that leads you down a correct direction, a correct path. Not one that's manipulative of you or make you seem like it's gold and find out it ain't.
Not someone who's going to, because see, and this is my point about it all right here, is we have to pay for everybody else's culture. So why shouldn't they have to pay for ours?
Absolutely. Well, for what it's worth, we become everybody's culture.
Because we spend money with everybody.
Yeah.
Any and everybody we spend money with, but you do see Caucasians in the rib and chicken shack, but you don't see no other culture coming to getting any of our food or our products. None.
But that's precipitated. That's precipitated by self-hate and self-ignorance and lack of self-love. I mean, it is what it is. Because and we invented the very thing you
and it's a level of arrogance and ignorance on their part because not realizing that all of the culture that they're enjoying in America came from the originals. So without the originals being here, this culture is nothing. Because when you go and I'm looking at all of these places, the young people in these other cultures, they want to be black. They acting just like they black. Especially they're acting just like the Filipinos, the Asians, they're all acting just like they black.
They are. I even saw a video of the guy even getting his hair like he can wear it in a fro.
Yeah.
Like, man, come on.
Exactly.
While
we're running away from it.
Well, some of us.
You know what I mean? Really though, while we're running away from it. This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. And then how can we get mad at them when we running away from it?
That goes back to what you said earlier. That's the intent. I'm gonna make you like me and take you. And I'm gonna do everything but be you. I'm gonna be everything just like you, but I'm not gonna be you. And then the next time the story be written, it all came from us.
It's always at the end of it, when we break it down, it's always about spending money. It's always about consumerism. What can I do? How can I manipulate you to get you to spend more money?
Yep. That is true.
When it all boils down to, I don't care what it is, in this culture that we live in, this operating system, as I like to call it, when you break it down to the least common denominator, it's always going to be money.
M-O-N-E-Y.
Everything going to revolve around that. Every single thing, no matter what it is, I don't care if it's from you dealing with the court system, your baby, everything they want is about money. And then while they got you, let's figure out another way to get more out of them.
That is true.
Even if we have to use his family, her family against them.
Unfortunate truth.
I'll end on that.
Okay, my brother. Everyone, thank you for enjoying our time together. We hope you learned something, or at the very least, made you think twice about something that you already think you know, and consider the things that we say. Have a wonderful week. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit share, and subscribe. And until then, we'll see you later.
And you can expect some more content coming to the channel, because I'm gonna be doing some, as they say, some reactions to some of this crazy stuff that's going on social media. Why not? Let's expose it like everybody else is doing, because again, this page is called Dysfunctional Culture, and that's exactly what we're living in. Peace, love. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the rest of the week, and